The singularity is near, a time when technology will completely replace human productivity, a time where humans will become obsolete. So today I'm going to show you how to profit off of it. So in my last video, we talked about building a business using DALL-E and image generation using artificial intelligence. And I want to take a step back. I still think that that's a really great opportunity, but I want to look at a much larger picture, potentially a bigger trend that could end in the downfall of humanity. And I know this all sounds kind of doom and gloom, and I'm mostly joking around, but the reality is there's actually a lot of opportunity if you know where to look. And this is something I like to do regularly in various markets, because when you get too micro, you miss the bigger picture and you miss the big opportunities and the larger trends. So it's important to take note of the various levels in a market or organization so that you can see where things are starting to fragment and fall apart, and you can come in with a product that solves that problem and make a killing. Now, I like to look at 3 different levels, with the last one being like total singularity, end of the human race type stuff. But the first one is actually at an interaction-based level in a market or organization. And I know that sounds somewhat complicated, so let me just give you an example. So imagine I have a graphic design agency, and let's say it's in the automotive market. And I might have, a graphic designer, I might have a photographer, I might have other freelancers working in the business. And let's say the flow is a customer purchases a package for graphics, and then that needs to be designed by a designer and, one of the freelancers. Well, there's several interactions that take place with that very simple transaction, right? A customer talks to me and we have a conversation about what they need. I talk to the freelancers, they send me the graphics, I send them back to the customer. Maybe the customer, wants them to be changed. So there's back and forth, and then the customer will pay me and then I go and pay the freelancers. Now that's a lot of interaction for a relatively simple project. If there was some kind of software or tool where I could manage all my freelancers and clients, and I could get paid and I could pay out, that would be a very helpful tool, especially if the software was made specifically for the automotive space, or at least branded that way. Because you see, interactions between people is like a multi-trillion-dollar market. And that's why some of the largest SaaS companies out there are in the business of communication and interaction. So SaaS is like Slack, Zoom, Monday, all these different, basically every CRM in existence, they try to make interactions between people easier. But if you are a very small fish, you can squeeze into places that the big boys can't. And you can niche down into, say, the truck repair shop niche. And you're going to find that there's only a handful of decent SaaS companies catering to that exact market. And they honestly aren't that good. For example, if I search on Google for truck repair shop software, and you scroll down, there's some decent ones here. Shop Monkey's pretty good. But right here on the first page is one called dieselrepairshopsoftware.com. And if we look at this website looks like it was built in the early 2000s. It's very old, and copyright 2000. So it is over 20 years old. And this is on the first page of Google. Now, whether this business is operating anymore is irrelevant. The fact is, it's on the first page of Google for what I would assume a very main keyword for a software like this. We can look at their pricing, and you can see this picture here shows that this is like actually built on Windows 95, and they're charging, $35 a month or $600 one time. So there's money to be made here, and this business probably made money back in the day, or maybe still does, I don't know. But the reality is, if this is your competition, now interactions are a great place to start, but there's another level to consider before we get to the singularity, and that is personal effectiveness and efficiency. Throughout every business, there's always inefficient or useless individuals, and they're slow and potentially even counterproductive. And maybe they weren't trained right, maybe they didn't interview for the job correctly, maybe they just suck. I don't know. Either way, welcome to another multi-trillion-dollar industry, which is ensuring individuals are productive. There are plenty of massive corporations that spend and make billions on tooling and software to fix this ever-expanding issue. Tools like Grammarly help you write better and faster. Tools like If This Then That and Zapier let you build out automations to remove troublesome tasks. So one example off the top of my head is, something like compliance for a construction company, because there are so many different laws and regulations that you have to follow when you're constructing a building. And they change all the time, and they vary depending on what kind of building you're building and where you are in the world. And that's something that can slow down work tremendously and make the progress for the workers very slow and honestly inefficient and not as effective. So what would be useful is a software that all of the workers can have on their phones that can look up all of the different compliances that they have to follow for a specific project. Now, if I go to Google and I search for compliance software and actually just leave out construction at this point, because look at all of these different industries and locations, right? Compliance software in India, right? So maybe you target different countries. Practicing company secretary, schools, hedge funds, healthcare, financial services. So all different markets kind of need compliance software. But if we go through and we look for construction specifically, now there's a lot of ads running on the search term, which means that there are companies spending money to be seen, right? If we look at the organic results, GitApp is like the first result. That's not actually a construction management company. That's just an aggregate of a bunch of them. So there's one called Avetta, and then you have G2. So there's not a ton here. One that might make sense, at least in the URL, is this contractor compliance.io. So it sounds kind of techy. They're using a .io, and you can see it's a SaaS for your phone, and it reduced admin by 70% in 2 weeks. That's an increase in effectiveness and productivity. So this software allows and empowers organizations to easily collect, track, and manage contractor and vendor compliance requirements. So, honestly, this is probably a pretty simple app to make. It's literally just a glorified spreadsheet. But you can see if we look at their pricing here, it's not too cheap. They start at $200 a year, and then they go up to over $1,000 a year for larger companies. And again, this is just a simple app. You probably could build this in like a no-code tool, but I don't know how much money this site's making in particular, but it looks nice. So this is an example of increasing productivity and efficiency for your workers. So we've looked at improving the interactions between people, and we've also looked at increasing the productivity of an individual. Now, naturally, the next step is to completely remove the humans altogether. This is the singularity level, and this is what we're trending towards. From self-checkout at the grocery store to completely automated car production lines, basically machines and technology are removing humans from the equation altogether. And whether you hate it or love it, it's happening.
Oh my God, okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
So let's look at the opportunities that it could present. And the best way to do this that I found is to, again, look back at the organization, a large company. And instead of looking at the interactions that people are having between each other or making individuals more efficient, look at someone's entire job and say, can we replace this entire job with software? And for example, a receptionist at a tech company, maybe they just answer phones all day and answer questions and then forward people to the right person. And I believe receptionists are paid like $30,000 to $40,000 per year in the United States. So if you imagine if I could do their entire job per year and only charge $400, that's 2 orders of magnitude cheaper. Any business that heard they could save $39,600 per year by replacing the receptionist would likely grab it up immediately. And if you remember in a previous video of mine, I tried to call a company and ask for pricing, a very simple question, and they never picked up and they never returned my call. So they could probably benefit from a receptionist software like this. Now, the technology to do this is maybe here. I see things like Google Duplex, which is an AI assistant that can call people for you. And I'm kind of blown away by the interactions that people are already having with artificial intelligence.
So how can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a women's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd. Sure, give me 1 second. Mm-hmm.
And that tech has been out for years. So I think the tech does exist to have an AI receptionist that can answer basic questions like, hey, what is your pricing? Or I'd like to make an appointment. And I think having AI handle phone calls is better than just not picking up your phone at all. And if you're skeptical about all this, just remember that we all thought that self-driving cars would be basically impossible like 10 years ago. So I hope you got some good ideas from this video and maybe found a great place to start doing your own research. And that's all for this video. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.